We'll start with each candidate. We'll start with an introduction of themselves. Thank you. Ms. Mosley.
Good afternoon. It is an honor and a delight to have the opportunity to speak with you today as a candidate for the office of trustee for the village of Hazel Crest. I am a 36-year resident. I've raised two amazing children in this village, and they are now adults. And I have been active in the village as serving as a second term at Potawatomi Hills Homeowners Association as the president. I have participated for 6 years on the Economic Development Commission, and also have spent the last 2 years working in the community engagement, data-informed community engagement program. I have 29 years of experience in financial services, 5 years with BMO and also with Harris, so it was a continuation of my career. 5 years with the University of Chicago in business diversity, and 2 years with Rush University Health and Medicine. I bring to the village the skills of strategic planning, relationship development, strategic sourcing, change management, finance, sales and marketing. I have been blessed to have a variety of opportunities, which I'd love to share titles and more about my roles afterwards, but 2 minutes won't let me move. So thank you. I look forward to sharing more during this conversation and following the forum. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Ms. Marshall Motley. Can't read it right.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, first and foremost, for spending your Saturday afternoon with us. My name is Marquita Marshall Motley. I am a proud, lifelong resident of Hazel Crest. My parents and I moved here when I was 5 years old. I'm 21. So I enjoy the village. I love the village. I like to tell people all the time, I am living proof that you can raise a family here in Hazel Crest, Illinois. And that's something that I want to promote. I am a wife, I'm a mother to an amazing senior at Hillcrest High School. She is the apple of the eye and the stars in the sky for me. She is a future educator. She will go on to Illinois State University to major in history education, and she wants to come back home to teach at Hillcrest High School. On the note of Hillcrest High School, I am currently a board member of District 228. I was elected in 2023. When Marlon approached me about running on his ticket, I had to sit and reflect. I imagined running multiple terms and serving multiple terms on that board, but our vision aligned along with our team of safety, service, and growth. And it was a no-brainer for me to eventually vacate that position if you elect me as your village trustee. I currently work as an executive assistant at Northwestern Medicine. I support our president, our chief financial officer, and our VP of operations. I have over 20 years experience in leadership development, strategic planning, financial analysis. And if you choose the Hazel Crest Progressive Party, it will be a joy and an honor to serve you. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Jonathan Cooper.
You sure it's my turn? Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today to listen to us and hear our plans, and hopefully we get to answer your questions that you ask. First and foremost, my name is Jonathan Cooper. I'm a proud veteran of the United States Marine Corps and the United States Army, in which I retired from. I've been in Hazel Crest for 6 years. Once I bought my home here, I thought it was a fantastic community, so I started getting involved like I do everywhere else. I've been on the Veterans Commission for the past 4 years. Been on planning and zoning for the last 2 years, 2.5 years. I am also a former youth commissioner. Outside of this, I am currently studying, finishing up my double major, which I'm done with the political science portion, but my other portion is history at Governor State University, which I'll graduate in December, where I am overactively involved on campus and campus life. My experience in leadership, of course, is leading troops in combat, and also in the not-for-profit realm with the VFW, the American Legion, where I've held local, district, and state positions, and even a national appointment or two over my time. for almost the last 20 years. I'm looking forward to having the opportunity to continue serving in the capacity of serving my neighbors as well as all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Mrs. Jones. Mrs. Jones.
Right.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. My name is LaTonya Jones. I'm a lifelong resident of Hazel Crest. My goal is to, I would say as a lifelong resident, I've witnessed a lot of different changes, and I just feel like more can be done, and I want to be able to contribute to that change. I hold a bachelor's degree in urban planning from the University of Illinois, as well as a master's degree from the University of Cincinnati in urban planning as well. With over 10 years of experience working in managing TIF districts, working on community projects, as well as collaborating with businesses, residents, and government officials to promote economic growth as well as revitalization. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
It's Kimbrough.
Kimbrough.
It's Kimbrough-Huckabee.
Kimbrough-Huckabee.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Merle Kimbrough-Huckabee. I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a Gigi. My husband and I moved here to Hazel Crest over 20 years ago from Chicago, looking for a safer environment to raise our daughters and looking for better schools. A little background, I have an associate's degree from Prairie State College in health administration. My professional background includes, I've worked in retail, I've worked in banking, education, the food industry, but mostly healthcare. I've started out as a clerk, worked my way up as a secretary, administrative assistant, an executive assistant, and then being promoted into management. My service background includes, I sat on the Club Community HOA board from 2007 to 2019. I was re-elected back to that board this year, and I'm serving as vice president. I was a room parent at Flossmoor Hills. I was a building chair at Flossmoor Hills. I was elected to the school board, Flossmoor School District 161 in 2015 through 2019, simultaneously being appointed to the Speed School District 802 for our diverse learners, which 15 schools fed into that district. Also, I'm a member of New Faith Baptist Church, and I bring organizational skill set, and I bring strategic planning skill set, and if you want to talk to me a little bit later, you can talk to me more about my experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry.
Good afternoon, my name is Delphine Cherry. I'm a resident for the last 25 years, 24 years. I bring to the table, I am a gun violence activist. I have state level, local level, and national level. I'm a youth commissioner for the last 10 years. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I also started my own foundation, which is the Tender Youth TY Foundation, after the murder of my son here in Hazel Crest. And what I do is I foster people and children that have lost loved ones to gun violence. So what I bring to the table is I get out and I know my community, I know what's going on, and I try to foster the people in my community, their needs. It's important to us of what they need to do. And as a trustee, that's my plan to do, is make sure my residents have a voice to be heard, whether it's bad or good. So we need to hear from everyone. Thank you.
Ms. Jones.
Mia Reed.
I'm so sorry. Now, Ms. Reed.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mia Reed. I'm running for trustee for the Village of Hazel Crest. I am married to my wonderful husband, Peter. We have 4 adult children between the 2 of us and 3 beautiful grandchildren. I've been a resident in Hazel Crest for the past 15 years. And I've been a resident of the south suburbs my entire life. I've been employed for the past 20 plus years at Northwestern Medicine in the Department of Psychiatry as their education manager, where I managed our $4.5 million education budget. I also manage 40 resident doctors and 3 staff members. I mentor newly hired education coordinators, and I would like to bring my management and leadership skills to the village as your next trustee. Thank you.
Thank you. That ends our opening statements. We will start with our first question. The first candidate for the first question is Ms. Marshall Motley. The first question is, tell me what are the skill sets and skills of trustees?
Absolutely. So one of the most important skill sets to me is communication, transparent communication. If you see me out and about in the community, if you have a question, you should be able to come to me. I should be able to, or any of the trustees should be able to answer your question, or if we cannot answer your question right away, do some research and get back to you. Get your phone number, email address, whatever your best method of communication is. Strategic planning is another skill that is crucial to village trustees. You cannot execute a vision without a realistic plan. And financial analysis. We have to know if we have the money or how we can attain the funds to provide services to our residents. So those are 3 crucial skills that I believe are important for village trustees.
And what do you think the role of a trustee is?
Yes, the role of a trustee is to serve the residents, plain and simple. Not each other, not any external parties, but our residents.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper, tell me what are the skill sets or roles of a trustee?
Well, first of all, transparency. Everyone should be able to approach their trustee, no matter who it is, and explain their problems and expect the trustees or whatever elected official to get back to them in an expedient manner. Reliability as well. You should, as a tax-paying member of Hazel Crest, you should be able to rely on your elected officials to do the right thing for you and for the community. It's no need for personal expressions or personal opinions. It should be, number one, all about the residents here in the village.
Thank you. Ms. Jones, do you need me to repeat it?
No, thank you, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
I think the important role as a trustee is, one, to just having that open line of communication with the residents, making sure that they are aware of your concerns, and just being able to understand what's needed. Transparency is important, and I think that's it.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
I believe the role of a trustee, village trustee, is very much, it mirrors what a school board trustee does. In this role as a village trustee, your first job is to keep residents and business owners and property owners safe and protect their interests. You are advocating on behalf of business owners and residents, as well as you are creating ordinances and adopting ordinances and voting on them. You are also working with planning and development commissions as well. Skill sets of fiscal responsibility, also organizational leadership, strategic planning, budget, oversight, are all the things that are part and much more. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Cherry.
So you say, tell you your skill sets for a trustee. First and most, for a trustee is building relationships, making a positive impact, and most of all, in representing your community. So as a trustee, you have to represent your community. That's the purpose of you being a trustee. You have to be their voice. And if they tell you what they need and what they want, it's up to the trustees to make sure the village manager and the board hears their requests. Collaborating and most of all, teamwork. You gotta have teamwork. We have to work to collaborate together as a team in order to get anything done. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reed.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can. Tell me what are the skill sets or role of the trustees?
I think being the checks and balances for the village, working hand in hand and collaborating with the mayor and the other trustees, and not being a rubber stamp for the mayor, working with our business owners and being the voice of our voters that voted us in.
Thank you. Going to our second question. Oh, I skipped 7. Oh. I'm sorry, Miss Mosley.
Roles and responsibilities for the trustee are to protect and to promote the interest of the residents, first of all, and then to build relationships. So I'm a great relationship manager, having done that in banking. I've worked on boards internationally, nationally, locally, regionally. And so from that perspective, hearing the voice of the resident clearly and understanding what are the needs that need to be addressed. As well as that, strategic planning is a critical component of being a trustee and working collaboratively with the trustees and with the mayor in partnership in looking for the interest of the village. Financial stewardship is a major component, and governance is the other thing that should be expected of a trustee. And I would suggest that there are values that you would expect in addition to the skills that we bring, and ethics and respect are a major component of what you should anticipate from your trustees. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we hold our applause to the end, please? Second question, and we will start with Mr. Cooper. What do you think the relationship should be between our police and the residents?
The relationship between the police and the residents is very crucial. This is why I believe in established community service force within the police department, so the residents won't feel so disconnected from the police. By doing that and seeing the police out in your neighborhood every day and establishing that relationship with someone that you can rely on is very crucial. A lot of us are fearful of the police and what may happen in light of all the stuff that's been going on for the past few years. I think we can get past that with help, like I said, help from the community and establishing programs for the youth to get them to understand that the police are not all bad, that it is highly important as far as for safety and all that stuff for us to be on the same page with the police. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones.
Yes, I think it is important to have a great relationship with the police as well as the residents. I think it's important to get to know those that are patrolling your neighborhood as well as just looking out for your well-being. And I think it's also important to have conversations of what's missing or lacking to get a better understanding of how the police can assist us in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Yes, please. What do you think the relationship should be between our police and the residents?
I think the relationship should be built on respect. We must just respect their authority. But I also think that's a two-way, it goes both ways. We must build relationships, we must attend DICE meetings. I also think clear and concise communication is important as well, especially if something is happening actively in the area. You shouldn't have to look on the news to find that out. There should be some kind of system. I know we have RAVE, but definitely you should be able to have clear and concise communication, and it should be a relationship of mutual respect, and be able to voice your concerns.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry.
I think we have a dire need for a relationship with our police officer here in Hazel Crest. I feel like we're disconnected because we don't have that relationship with the police and residents. Like you said, there's things that's going on in Hazel Crest and residents don't really know about it, and we don't find out about it until it's on the news. I need to feel safe in my home, and so do you. So if I'm aware of something going on beforehand, at least I know how to prepare for it. I don't like to be learning something on the news and it happened next door or down the street or around the corner. I want to feel safe in my neighborhood. This is where I pay my taxes. I have a right to have safety. And I believe that the police could do a little better at serving the community and letting us know what's going on in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reed.
I think the relationship between the police and the residents should be communication and getting to know one another. Getting to know who your beat cop is or who's patrolling your neighborhood. Coming to meeting the village meetings and learning what's going on when the police chief presents his report. That way the residents will know what is going on within the village from a police standpoint. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the relationship with the police, can you hear me? Not on. The relationship with the police is, as I believe, is one that is proactive. In our homeowners association, when things happen in our section of the village, we do proactively contact the police, tell them what we've seen, ask them questions about what has occurred, I participate in the juvenile justice program for the reduction of violence, the youth program that the police department is sponsoring. There are opportunities for us to mentor our young people so that that relationship gets built. And what has been said before is when people know you, they're less likely to do harm. When we are neighbors and we're neighborly, that means that we can talk with each other about our concerns and that we bring those concerns to the police department and expect them to be proactive and to participate in helping to make sure that we're safe. So I think that it's a very important relationship and that we all have a responsibility for participating in making sure that the safety of the village is something that is a top priority. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall-Motley.
Okay, the relationship between the police and residents is a crucial one. This is why we need to continue the community policing model. This allows police officers and residents to interact with each other and get to know each other and foster that communication in between both parties. This is another reason why we need community service officers too, so we can have more feet on the ground in our communities and allow our police force to do their work to solve issues in the community. I also believe that there's opportunities for the police to engage in youth programming and bridge programming. Youth programming is something that's very important to me, and I think it should be important to everybody else in the community because it'll help address root cause issues that happen in our communities and next door. And I also believe there is a huge area of opportunity to improve communication between our police force and our residents, maybe via an app. We have push notifications and have information available within the app from the police department to our residents.
Thank you. Our third question, we will start with Ms. Jones. How do you plan to bring business to this community? Reputable business, not small business, to help bring revenue to the community?
Well, I would say the best way to bring reputable businesses to the community is, one, you have incentives in place. And you also have to see exactly what type of businesses you would like to have in the community. With my experience in managing TIF districts, sometimes there are different incentives that you can put in place that will make businesses want to come to the community to actually have businesses here. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
Would you repeat the question, please?
Yes, I will. How do you plan to bring business to this community? Reputable business, not small businesses, to help bring revenue to the community?
First of all, we are landlocked in Hazel Crest. It is going to be very difficult to bring anchor stores here. The other thing is we need a full-time economic development director to handle that in terms of bringing businesses to be able to speak the language. Like, for instance, on 183rd, we have a Illinois bus. Absolutely been vacated. For how long? How come there hasn't been a tenant or buyer there? We need an economic development director who speaks the language of commercial realty. And I think that that will help to resolve some of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry, do you need me to repeat?
No, I got it. Thank you. Community development. As a village trustee, and I know that we play a key role in fostering growth in the development of Hazel Crest. Before I decided to run for trustee, I took a long drive down here, Hazel Crest. And I saw so many businesses that have left this community. We don't even have a bank here, and I was like, I have to go outside of my community to go to a bank. That's a problem. So we need to ask these people, foster them, and get them back into our community. So if we have the businesses here, the money comes here. I should not have to take my money to Country Club Hills or Homewood. The money should stay in Hazel Crest, which will grow and develop our community, which will make it safer. If we have jobs for people here that live and work here, we having a safer neighborhood. And I will do my best to foster the mayor to help bring those businesses back. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reed.
Well, as my colleague said, Ms. Merle, we need to hire a full-time person that's devoted to bringing economic development to our village. Also, with commercial property, as Merle said, on 183rd, those business owners, they can sit on that property and do nothing with it, and there's nothing that we can do about it. So we need to have someone that can speak their language of filling their slots in their buildings, because there's nothing the village can do if that commercial owner does not want to put a business there. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mosley.
Thank you. One of the roles that I held was board member for the Chicago Minority Development Supplier Council and the Women's Business Development Center. I was also a small business liaison at the University of Chicago for the SBA. So one of the things that I would do is to go and to reach out to those organizations where large corporate is participating in how to develop, coach, and bring small business, as well as build relationships with the communities. So we have the opportunity to actually explore the possibility of bringing some of those businesses that are seeking places to do business, and to capitalize on those opportunities. While I was at the University of Chicago, I was responsible for the Business Diversity Initiative and brought $450 million worth of contracting opportunities to small and women-owned businesses to create an economic engine for the South Side of the University of Chicago. So I would intend to attempt to bring those kinds of skills and that kind of perspective to what we do in business development, as well as looking at what do you do to create the possibilities for employment so that you are building more resources within the business community where the citizens can also participate.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Motley.
Thank you. It's my plan to bring businesses to the community. I want to start by saying that small businesses are vital, and in many instances, those small businesses become big businesses. If you think about it, Jeff Bezos started Amazon in his garage, and look at where Amazon is now. So I'm your village trustee. I want to do whatever I can to help support those small businesses and give them the tools to become big businesses. Now, to attract other businesses to come to our community, I would have to be out and about courting some of those businesses to come to Hazel Crest doing site visits. I'd be happy to work with the board and the mayor to lead a site visit to make Hazel Crest a destination for some of those larger scale businesses. And I think that's important through relationship building and networking.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper.
Sure. I'll just make sure she's sure. She didn't want to pick me earlier. We all, first and foremost, we have to be realistic and understand that we are a landlocked community between two economic corridors. We have to be realistic about that first. So we have to focus mainly on small businesses. That is the foundation of our community. I think we need to reach out and bring more smaller businesses and medium-sized businesses into the community. I know people have dreams of Trader Joe's. It's like I said again, it's not realistic. We are a landlocked community. We are, like I said, we sit between two financial corridors on Halstead and Tinley and Orland Park. Like I said, we should try to get these businesses to come. And concerning the shopping plaza on 183rd, we cannot legally or any other way force an owner to put businesses into his building. If he chooses not to do that, there's nothing we can do about it. We can reach out to businesses and try to get them to come in, but I'm more of a realistic person when it comes to that, and I'm going to end it there.
Thank you. Our next question, number 4, we will start with Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee. What will you provide for our kids in Hazel Crest? What suggestions would you make for our kids in Hazel Crest?
The first suggestion I would make is that the village collaborates with the school districts. That's the first. We have to build a relationship. I have never seen a Hazel Crest president or mayor at any of our meetings. So that's the first, building those relationships so certain programs can get put into place. Also making sure our parks are usable. I mean, a lot of our parks, you go in, equipment is broken, glass all over the place. There's a number of things that we can do, but building relationships with the schools, I think, is key. And mentoring, having mentoring relationships as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry?
She's absolutely right. Building relationships with the schools. I have a foundation called Pretend to You, which stands for kids from 12 to 26, 3 to 4. And what my foundation do, we try to interact with the kids in the community, and it might be here in Hazel Crest and anywhere else, because I don't mind go wasted. So if you have a child that's home alone and the parents are at work, they need something to do. So we need those mentoring classes programs. We need those outreaches programs for these young people. We need programs for troubled youth also, and the mentally ill, because those are the ones that are at risk. And what I would do in my community is make sure that every child is not left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reed?
Thank you. I think what we need to do is, as some of my colleagues said up here, is work with the school district, number one, partner with the park district to see what programs can be formed, especially over the summer where kids have nothing really to do, and see what kind of programs we can put together for them to have something to do, and get youth working. I don't see a lot of youth or teens wanting to work. I mean, I have nieces and nephews, and they don't want to work. And we need to have some sort of commission to try to get kids jobs for the summer and after school. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Mosley.
Thank you. I keep popping up because they told me you can hear me better. So, youth development is a very critical component of what we need to do for our youth. So we do need programs. We also need leadership development programs for our young people. We need customer service development programs for our young people, because if we want them to become employed, we need to work with the programs to help to make them employable. And so I would suggest that in our relationship building with the schools, that there are opportunities for us to look at ways to do that. But also as residents, there are ways for us to look at how do we build intergenerational programs so that our young people get to work directly with the parents and get to work directly with other mentors in the community through the programs that exist for the village, so that we can expand the number of young people who are touched by that, and we can give them a rich experience that prepares them to become the kinds of citizens that we want them to be, and that will help them to strive. I work in a STEM program and youth ministry at Covenant United Church of Christ, and so there are all kinds of initiatives and resources that are available that we can bring to Hazel Crest, and that could make a difference.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Motley.
Okay, what will I bring to students in the community? First and foremost, I have to say, we need to bring back that village mindset. When I was growing up, it was truly a village. If you did something that was wrong, your neighbor took care of you, and then your neighbor communicated with your parents. Your parents came back to you. First and foremost, what's important is we need engaged parents. When you have engaged parents, you have engaged children. I can't say in District 228 we have career pathways for our students, so students take an assessment to determine what their pathway is. Do they go straight to the workforce, military, post-secondary education, etc. We need to work with our other school districts to create bridge programming, and of course intergenerational opportunities as well. Creating a pipeline for students to work with our senior population, since we do have Waterford Estates, and then we have Charter on 183rd. So just giving them those tools and the resources to be successful, to be engaged, but we really have to connect with the parents in the community to foster that culture of engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper.
So one thing that that Ms. Motley reiterated is we have to get back to a one village mindset. So by doing that, we have to also understand that all kids aren't gonna just go to college and all that stuff. So I think it's important that we create trade programs or work with unions, local unions, and create a trade program where these kids can understand that there are valuable skills outside of education. One of the things I learned about when I first moved here was programs like the Hazel Crest Mustangs, which provides educational assistance and other programming to keep kids after school and keep them out of trouble. I think we need to build youth mentoring programs where those type of programs can teach them resume writing and skills that they will need to enter into the job market if that's what they so choose. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones?
I think importantly is the best thing to do is work with the schools to see what's missing, what can be improved, figuring out a way to improve underused spaces that are more feasible for our children, and just try to incorporate other programs to help them and help them for the next steps into whether that's looking for a job, provide them with the necessary social skills that they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question, we will start with Ms. Cherry. What experiences and attributes set you apart from the other candidates?
Could you repeat that, please?
What experiences and attributes set you apart from the other candidates?
I sat on the board of Brady United in Washington, D.C. for 4 years, and I'm also on the board of 1A, Illinois. For the last 7 years, I have a bachelor's degree in corrections. I was a probation officer. I started my own business with my foundation, Tender Youth. I'm currently running for trustee. What makes me set from the rest of the people are I deal with local, national government. I'm an ally to most of the government, which is Robin Kelly, Dick Durbin, the Governor Pritzker. So I'm an ally to that. I can get to them and talk to them about the things that we need here because of my advocacy work that I do for the last 10, 15 years. So I feel like I'm in a space where I can get some things done that probably the Village of Hazel Crest couldn't. I can go to my allies and say, we need this and we need that, and they're willing to work with us to get it done. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reed?
Well, I think I come with a fresh perspective. I'm not a politician, nor do I seek to be a career politician. I offer my 20 years management experience and leadership from my role at Northwestern Hospital. I am committed to our community, and I want real change and not the status quo that we've had. I am a team player. I work effectively with a diverse group to achieve common goals, and I have strong communication skills, and I have the ability to listen to the constituents and advocate effectively, not just for a few, but the entire community. Thank you.
Thank you. My friend over here, Ms. Mosley.
Thank you. I think that one of the things that sets me apart actually is my upbringing. I am the daughter of a Pullman porter and a registered nurse. And so I learned from an early age about the importance of serving about the critical issues related to caring for people and for your community, and about the idea that we must fight for the things that are important to us, for equity and for opportunity, and that our values are important. And so working with people and building relationships that are differentiating so that we can learn to be civil, we can work in kindness, with humility and respect for each other. And that is something that I think is a very critical element of how we work together as partners, as collaborators. And the other thing that's very different, I think, is I have never held a job where the job existed before I took it. So I have written my own job descriptions at the behest of executive leaders, and have not been discouraged or afraid to take on any kind of new issues and problem-solving opportunities that have existed. And I see that we're stepping into a place where that's the kind of attention and work that will be required to be successful in this position.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Motley.
Thank you. What sets me apart from my fellow candidates, I was raised here in the village. So I've seen the transition of the village where it was mostly land, we had spattering of businesses, and now we're starting to see more businesses in the village. I've also seen the demographics in our village change. So that's kind of the insight that I have to the community. I serve on school board for District 228, so I have a bird's eye view of the education landscape, and to be able to bridge the gap with our youth and our senior population and everything in between. I also have a bachelor's in healthcare management. I'm working on my MBA in healthcare management as well. So I'm able to take a look and analyze our social determinants of health. And I think that's going to be crucial as a board for us to look at and do a root cause analysis to help solve issues and not just put a Band-Aid on them. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper?
One word I can think of, service. As my service to the nation, my continued service to other causes that are near and dear to me, as is the veterans, the Special Olympics, my university. Service has always been my thing, and I don't know if it had anything to do with me going to places that many have not been to, but I realized at that point, taking care of others is truly the most important thing that we all can do. All the infighting. I remember when I moved here to Hazel Crest, it was during an election cycle where I was getting all this mail and had no clue what's going on. And I said, it shouldn't be that way. We all have to live here. We are all gonna, shop here and grow here. Why can't we be very civil? And I agree with what you said with civility. Civility is the most important thing. Even after this election is over, no matter which way it goes, we all have to be civil. We all have to work together. We all have to live here. We all have to get things done. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones?
Yes, so what will separate me from the other candidates? I have an extensive background in working with communities and resolving problems. I'm an active listener, working in economic development, understanding how we can utilize like vacant spaces, bringing in new money into our community. Nope, that's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
One thing that sets me apart is I understand the role of the trustee. First of all, you are the checks and balances to the president and the mayor. Remember I told you I sat on the school board? I bring that experience. It's a total mirror of what a trustee does, except, remember I said, we're keeping the role of the village trustee is to keep residents, property owners, and business interests safe. Well, that's what we did on the school board. Ordinances, creating policies, but most importantly, being able to be strategic. bringing organizational leadership, bringing problem solving, teamwork, and knowing this role that we are advocating on behalf of you, the residents. That's what's important. The mayor and the president doesn't run anything. The trustees hold the power. When you understand that role, then you don't allow the president and the mayor to hold and have and to do his agenda and bidding. Thank you.
Thank you. We're on to question number 6, a new question, and we will start that question with Ms. Reed. What will you do about guns in Hazel Crest?
Well, I think it's an issue around the country with guns being too accessible to everyone. We would need to work with our police department. I think we need to invest in sorry, lost my train of thought. We need to work with the police department to figure out how we can control the guns coming into our community and making sure that our people that don't need to have guns don't have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Mosley?
I have failed retirement, and I work now as a restorative justice facilitator, working in peace initiatives. And so there are programs looking at how to reduce gun violence, how to educate individuals with regard to gun safety. And that's a critical issue because our young people need to understand and others need to understand what is the responsibility for owning a gun and what are the things that we need to do in order to help people to feel that it's time to disarm. And that only happens where you create a community where people feel and work as neighbors. Yes, it is critical for us to work with the police department. And so some of the things that we can do also is bring programs to the area, like Sticks Down, where folks know then what happens as a result of the violence that occurs from guns. Because many times our youth don't really understand that. And so those are some of the things that I would think we need to do with regard to gun violence and the reduction of guns in the community. Responsible use, responsible ownership, and their elimination.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Motley?
Okay, if elected as trustee, what will I do about guns in Hazel Crest? I can't come here about.
What would you do about guns in Hazel Crest?
Yes. I can't come into your home and take your guns. I'm not gonna come into your home. But what I can do as a board is work with the police department to, again, engage our community. I would love to see conflict resolution workshops come into our community. That is a crucial factor in reducing gun violence in education. As one of my fellow running mates stated, we have to educate our community on the again, how to properly store and how to handle and just gun ownership altogether. But the most important component is de-escalation of conflict and conflict resolution. So that's going to be the driving factor in reducing gun violence.
Thank you. Ms. Cooper?
Mister? I'm picking on y'all.
No, I'm so sorry. It was so funny. I was just thinking to myself, what if you said Ms. Cooper because it's all women up there? I am so sorry. Mr. Jonathan Cooper has been picking on him since he got here.
It's all good. You know, one thing we have to understand, ladies, and I look at this question as I wrote it down. There's absolutely nothing we can do as a board about guns in Hazel Crest. It's the thing called the Second Amendment, and people like to run the court, right? What we can do as a board is talk to the police department and have them offer gun locks and offer programming to inform residents about guns. First and foremost, we have to enforce the gun laws. It's already on the books. That was made by our legislatures, not by us. So I can't sit up here and honestly say, well, I'll do this and I'll do that, because I know better. There's nothing that a trustee in the Village of Hazel Crest can do to take someone's legal guns away from them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper. Ms. Jones.
Yes, I would just say, I can't really speak much about what to do with guns, but I think the starting point is just working with the police department to figure out what's the best way to kind of see how we can minimize the amount of gun violence that we're having, as well as working with the residents to figure out what's the best solution. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
I concur with everything that everyone up here has said. But one thing that's most important, we have to restore the voice of our residents. Our residents do not have a voice. Just go to a meeting, a village meeting. They're down at the bottom of the meeting after every decision has been made. The reason I bring that up, residents know what's going on. But if they don't feel safe to speak, they're not going to. So that's part of it. We have to reintegrate the voice of our residents. We need to work with the police, of course, look at the data, and we have to also really build relationships with residents and restore that trust. And the gun violence programs, the education, it all works hand in hand. But your residents mostly know what's going on in their neighborhoods. We know. We just have to feel safe to voice it.
Thank you, Ms. Cherry.
She was absolutely right. This is my favorite subject. Thank you. So, gun violence in Hazel Crest. My son was murdered in Hazel Crest, and his murder is still unsolved. So that makes me an advocate. I have passed 7 gun bills in Springfield since my son has passed. We just passed the Karina bill, which is a domestic violence. But if they're not doing what they're supposed to do as a police officer to get these guns out of the hands of the people that shouldn't have them, it serves no purpose. So I love getting guns off the street, especially if they're illegal. I've gave out gun locks. I've had programs where we brought back guns. But the people that are doing this are having guns illegally. I'm a gun owner. I'm a responsible gun owner, so I'm not going to put my guns in the hands of anybody else. We have to work on the illegal guns that are flowing through our community. And that's where the problem can get solved at. Little Johnny ain't got no business with no gun. Daddy should leave the gun at home. We just shut down Chuck's 2 weeks ago. It took us 22 years. Now I'm working on this. So I'm telling you why I can't be as a citizen, maybe not as a trustee. But it affects my community if they're stealing guns and they're shooting up my community, because that's why my son is dead now. Thank you.
Thank you. We're on to the next question, number 7, and we are back at the beginning of our order. Ms. Mosley, what can/should the village do about rental homes not being cared for by landlords?
That is a critical issue, and I happen to live in a home that has been occupied or unoccupied at various points in time, and spoken with those developers who are responsible or should be responsible for the maintenance and the responsible occupancy of those homes. I think that the village needs to have a routine and ongoing relationship with those developers. I think that some of the limitations that have been put in place with respect to ensuring that the individuals who are occupying those homes know the ordinances and the rules and the responsibilities that they have as neighbors in those locations. And I believe that we could work with commercial real estate in order to find ways to do a better job of ensuring that home ownership and rental opportunities are handled in such a way that people can be good neighbors and be held accountable as good neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Motley.
Thank you. I think it's crucial for education and communication to take place with the landlords and with the renters who come into our community. We need to have a structured onboarding process for landlords and for renters who come into the community. Educate them on ordinances and just give them tools to be able to maintain the upkeep of their homes so they're not eyesores. It also helps to, I would say, motivate the renters to become homeowners in our community. We're giving them those tools and the support so we can go ahead and keep growing our population. But again, it comes back to education and communication. Thank you.
Mr. Cooper.
Mr.?
Mr. Jonathan Cooper.
One thing we can do, I look at the home that's next door to mine after I purchased mine. I've seen maybe 4 different set of residents come in because this home is owned by a corporation that they do a little rehab work, but not enough. And most residents that's been there has been there maybe 6 months at the most. So I think we should actually enforce our ordinances and hold these landlords accountable. I've had yards in my neighborhood that was almost as tall as me. Yet we continue to give them warnings and say, hey, you got 3 days, and then 3 days turns into a week, and which is far too long. So if we're going to actually enforce these ordinances on the landlords and make our communities better and make our communities safer, I think that's where we need to start. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones.
Yes, I feel like it's important to have education for property owners as well as tenants, making sure that they're aware of the expectations and ensuring to hold them accountable if they don't meet those expectations. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee.
First of all, just like when a new resident moves or property owner, we need to make sure that the village is disseminating information for compliance. So people will come in, it's back to education again. So people will understand what the expectation is and what the consequence is if you do not. We should identify what those homes are and where they are. But again, we gotta, restore the voice of residents. Because see, residents know all inspectors and the village people are not out checking as they should be. So if residents felt a little safer in a safe space, they could report these things. I also think that, you have to make sure to hold landlords accountable. When you hit them in their pocket, that's anybody. When you hit them in their pocket, you get a better response.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry.
I moved into Hazel Crest as a renter. And I remember this lovely package I got, welcome me to the community, and it told me my do's and my don'ts. They don't do that no more. And I remember when things went wrong with my landlord, and I wanted to stay in Hazel Crest, I got it done, because I love where I was staying at. And I think we, as a village, we need to bring that back. If I move to a village, I want to know that my village is going to support me no matter what. Like that lovely package I got, I read it over and over and knew what I couldn't do, what I can do. And we don't do that. We need to bring that back to make people feel welcome. They want to stay here and invest in our community. I did. I ended up buying my house.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Reed.
As others have stated, up here here on this panel that we need to educate our homeowners, and as well as the tenants. The tenants need to be able to come to the village to say when their landlord is not doing what they need to do. And I think educating the property owners and as well as the tenants is key. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, question number 8, and this will be our last question. And we will start with Ms. Marshall Motley. Question. Vehicle stickers. Your opinion on reinstating the reinstatement of $35 for vehicle stickers. How likely is that to return, as that's revenue for the community? Hazel Crest needs funding.
That is a great question about vehicle stickers. To be totally honest, I think that is something that we could re-examine. I think it's important to have a sticker in place on our vehicles so we know who is in our community, who belongs here, who is just visiting in the village. I think the issue is we see a lot of vehicles that are kind of abandoned here in the village, and if we don't have a vehicle sticker, there's no way for us to monitor that. I think it's important for us to re-examine that so we can obtain more revenue for the community.
Thank you. Mr. Cooper.
Again, it's very important to re-examine that issue, but if I recall, it was put as a valid measure to the residents. And I think if we decide that we want to do this as a board, it should be put to the residents again as well to see if they want to determine that we need vehicle stickers or not. I don't think the board should be making these decisions, even though it's a revenue driving thing, but you know, we shouldn't put a burden with the taxes already increasing on our citizens. So I think if we decide to do this again, it should go to the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Jones?
Yes, so I think it's one of those things, like a few people in the panel already had mentioned, if that's something that needs to be revisited, it's definitely important to get the input of the residents. And if you decide not to reinstate that, then it's just a matter of figuring out the best way to keep track of those that are actually a resident of Hazel Crest if you're taking advantage of certain services, such as, like my mother uses the compost. How do you keep track of those types of things? Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kimbrough-Huckabee?
The vehicle sticker was put in with the referendum where we're talking about the art district and term limits. It's very confusing, and if you answered something about the question of term limits, it could really trip you up. But here's the deal, I think that needs to be looked at. I believe that it brought in about $150,000 in revenue or close to that. So what is it that is missing? How do we replace that money? So again, it is something that I think definitely that needs to be re-examined. A lot of people didn't understand the referendum. It was, even for me, it was a little confusing because term limits was really thrown in there, and that's really what the answer was. They were really searching for that answer. So it's something, again, we need to re-examine and see what that revenue covered and how are we filling that cost center to ensure that we are not missing out on services.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry?
I agree with everybody else. It was a decision by the community. It was a referendum. It was a little confusing. And it was kind of strange because I had already bought my window stickers, so that messed me up. But yeah, I think it needs to be re-examined. But since the people of Hazel Crest voted it in, they will have to vote it out. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Reed?
I think it's something that should be looked at again, and we need to see how the funds were being used, how much revenue it was bringing in the first place, to see if we need to start charging our residents again with more, because they're already taxed to death anyway. So If we don't have to, have vehicle stickers, we don't need to. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you to our wonderful candidates here. Now,
Can I just check your name? I'm so
sorry, Ms. Mosley.
Okay, she is being efficient. She's getting us through this afternoon. So I echo what's already been said about vehicle stickers because it was a decision that was made by the village. But the most important thing about it is if we institute it, we need to enforce it. And so without enforcement, it doesn't really matter whether we have stickers or not, because it's not generating the revenue that it's intended to create. So maybe in a conversation with residents, we could discover if that revenue could be used for some other special purposes that help to provide some of the things that we would like to see happen in the village, and that those funds could be made available for something that is very meaningful to us, as opposed to just sort of saying, we're instituting stickers and we're gonna add $150,000 to the pot, and it's not really serving much of a purpose. So I would like to see us explore it again.
Thank you, thank you. Now we're on to closing statements. Ms. Mosley started the opening statement, so now we'll go in reverse order. And Ms. Reed gets to be the first candidate for a closing statement. And they have 1 minute for closing statements.
Thank you. I would like to see and build a community that values its residents, have welcome, open conversation, and is transparent, clear, and honest with our residents. I am asking for your support, your trust, and your partnership as we embark on this journey to rebuild, renew, and revive the village of Hazel Crest. My name is Mia Reed, and I'm asking for your vote on April 1st. Thank you.
Thank you guys coming out tonight. Today, I appreciate it. First and foremost, I want to be the voice of the residents of our village. I believe in the importance of listening and concerns and ideas of neighbors to ensure their needs are represented in discussions making in this process. I am committed in fostering inclusion environment where every member feels their voices are heard. As a trustee, if I win, if I don't win, I'm still going to support that person because, like I said, we need teamwork. Whether we win or lose, we all win here. At least one of us, 3 of us, we all win. And we need to work together as a community to keep building up our community. And if I win, vote for me, April 1st, Delphine Cherry, number 17. Thank you.
Keep going.
I want to address the 600-pound gorilla in the room, property taxes. I predicted in 2019 we were going to be taxed out of our homes. Look at my voting record in District 161. You can create programs and incentives for people to move for vacant homes, to fill these vacant homes. But if you don't provide some property tax relief, you're going to have many more vacant homes. And the fact that we are going to be forced to make some very tough decisions. And those decisions to either sell or lose our homes. We want to form a property tax commission to have a working relationship with Cook County and other townships, so we can at least do what somebody hasn't done and make an attempt to work with Cook County on the village level to get us some property relief.
Thank you. Ms. Jones?
As we look towards the future of Hazel Crest, I believe the opportunity to build a stronger, more vibrant community, one that prioritizes smart economic growth, transparency, and well-being for all residents. With my background in economic development and community engagement, I am dedicated to bringing thoughtful leadership and practical solutions to the village board. But the real progress happens when we all work together. I ask for your vote on April 1st so that we can move Hazel Crest forward. Thank you.
Mr. Cooper?
You know, I started this race not promising anything, and it's been mentioned about the 800-pound gorillas and 600-pound gorillas. But one thing I want to remind the residents that we're not running against the outgoing village clerk or village president. We are running for a better future of the village of Hazel Crest. And I strongly believe with our message of safety, service, and growth that the Hazel Crest Progressive Party is ready to lead you in that direction. So please vote 2, 6, 10, 11, 12. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall Motley?
To move Hazel Crest forward, I can promise you this, I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be out in the neighborhoods, I'm going to be out and about, I'm going to be talking to my neighbors to see what you are looking for so we can collaborate as a board to try and make things happen. I'm a proud daughter of a retired bricklayer, so that work ethic was instilled in me. So I eat, sleep, and drink and sweat Hazel Crest, and I promise to bring that to you. It will be a joy and an honor to serve you as village trustee on a platform of safety, service, and growth, but most importantly, one village, one voice, because we have to work together. And the way to work together will be to vote the Hazel Crest Progressive Party. So please punch 2, 6, 10, 11, 12 on April 1st. And don't forget, early voting is still occurring until March 30th. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What you can expect from me is looking for better goals and looking for better solutions. Looking forward to a better quality life for all of us as residents and the opportunities to bring and to build a business that supports the village. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with all of you this afternoon. And I would like to suggest that our platform, we are stronger together. The opportunity to bring your voice back to the community and have the relationship that you would like to have with us and with your neighbors is available through our team, which has said to you that we are stronger together, and that doesn't mean just us as a team, it's us along with you. And so I would ask you and thank you for your consideration as trustee, and ask that you would please vote for 3, 7, 13, 14, and 15. Thank you so much.